you.
Wake up, Tenno. Transmission received. Message arrived. Message received. There is a message waiting. Message received.
The darkness. Light! Hello everyone and welcome to Devstream 139. Welcome, welcome. We have a new setup here today because we're going to be taking a deep dive into a 20-part Devstream. But as with every Devstream, we need to, do our housekeeping, but we should probably do some introductions. To my right, we have esteemed scientist, engineer, entropy defeater, gravity manipulator, Esteban Sinclair. It's very nice to meet you, Steve.
We're going to be looking at some graphs today. So, do people know what the stream's about yet?
They do. Chat, what is the stream about today?
All right.
The stream is
About Sailor Moon.
It is not about
I think
Sailor Moon.
I think they're
Lotus
maybe
Clem.
commenting. It's about Clem, that's right.
It is about Clem.
And
Reviews.
my sexy butt, that's right. Thank you.
Don't think so.
We're reviewing it in detail.
Yeah. It is about...
Detailed review.
Yes. Well, you guys didn't do your homework, clearly.
No,
I don't have any lenses in these, but I still think, feel smarter when I have them on. So
Yes, this is a Bloodborne gameplay stream, so yeah, reworks galore. Excellent. It's about we're going to be doing some revisions and some reviews. We have 20 parts to go over, and we're going to basically 21 parts. Steve snuck in a part after our the numbering system had been established, but we're just gonna go with it. See, chat is so far behind now. They're answering. It's fine. It's cool. We're good.
Wait, how far is chat behind?
I think there's a lot of folks, so we're just getting to those now. Yeah, okay. You guys are behind. That's a good calibration
real-time
for the
feedback.
stream. I know.
Not so
That's
much.
okay. Anyway, housekeeping. Let's start things off with an absolutely crazy Nintendo Switch Super Smash Bros. Event, which is live today. For the, a limited time, you can get the Lotus Spirit by playing Super Smash Bros. So if you're playing Super Smash, if you have it on your Switch, you can, right now, live, the event is live, it ends next week, you can get the Lotus as a spirit in the Spirit Battles for Nintendo Switch Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. How insane is that?
That's very insane.
It's real. The second I'm done work today,
Yep.
That's all you're doing.
this is all I'm doing. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
Now my family thinks I have a real job because I showed up in Smash in some
Nintendo
way.
product.
Yeah, I know.
A Nintendo product.
It's like the only way to calibrate the work we do. It's like, yeah, no, it's in Smash. So
Finally.
yes, so pretty crazy. There's more to that than meets the eye. There is a altered state of sorts for the Lotus, so you'll check that out if you level it out.
Very good.
It's a two-part spirit.
Spoilers.
All right.
Nice.
Just got to get a
Spoilers.
playable character in that game now.
I know. One day. If we can't even get Waluigi, what hope do we have?
True.
So today's dev stream is about reviewing, revising, refreshing. We're going to go over the first main line of the
You
year.
said that. I didn't want you to say that.
Saying it
She's
anyway.
been-
She's been saying
Yeah,
this. I thought fighting entropy was way cooler.
No. We're going to be doing that, but before we do that, a lot of people are asking when we'll announce the ticket launch date for TennoCon 2020. We are very excited to put tickets on sale, but we're holding off an announcement until we better understand what's going on with conventions and coronavirus overall, and just with the way things have been shaking out this week with GDC and PAX. We're really cautious, and we don't want the health of our players or our development team to be put at risk, so we're just waiting before we put the tickets live to see how this situation will essentially either go on or not. So bear with us as we are sort of watching and waiting for that.
I think there's a lot of people. I mean, they're even talking about the Olympics, aren't they?
They are even talking about the Olympics.
So to be patient with us. Yeah.
Yeah, so as you know,
I mean, worst case scenario, we'll do some crazy online thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, no matter what, there will be
Yep.
something. It just may not be physical.
Yep.
There will be a TennoCon event. It could just be digital.
Steve, a 24-hour
Steve.
Steve stream.
Yeah,
24-hour Steve stream.
exactly. The best. The best. So yes, if you're looking
It's not the best.
The Lotus Spirit in the Spirits in Black event in Super Smash ends March 4th. So that's when you have until to get it. 2 alerts after the stream. Easy alert for a build forma. The harder alert for an Orc and Catalyst blueprint. So there you go. You can play your 24-hour alerts after the stream. We have 3 giveaways of Platinum for the stream and 1 of Prime Access, so that'll happen randomly throughout the stream. If you're watching logged in on Twitch or Mixer, you'll have a chance to win. There is a drop today. We did a poll on Twitter, life versus death, Oberon versus Necros Noggles. Death won. Necros Noggle it is. Can you believe it?
No, I can believe it.
You,
I can.
you
I
can?
believe it.
All right.
It's edgy. I like it.
All right.
Yep.
All right. All right. Now let's get to it. 20 parts is what we've said, but now it's
21
actually
parts?
21 parts now. It's 20 plus, 20 plus bonus
20-ish
parts. So with our 20 plus bonus parts, let's look at the agenda.
Where are we starting?
The agenda.
I didn't
There's
approve
agenda.
this. I didn't approve this.
I approved it.
There's
So
an agenda again. We've
there
come
is
back
an
to
agenda.
agendas.
So we are going to go over what is coming for each of these 20 topics, and we'll talk a little bit about why for each. Where we can support these topics with gameplay, we will do so. Where we can support with graphs or assets, we will do so. So let's take a look at the fact that for this stream, we're going to be talking about Railjack Onboarding Changes, Railjack Bug Fixes, Armor Health Shield Changes, Infested Damage Changes, AI Aim Changes, Shield Gaining, Self-Damage, Excavator Health Shield Scaling Changes, Titania and Vauban Tweak/Changes, reward changes for base nodes, select UI changes from the workshop that's live, 100 times restore blueprints, Sentinel mods, Arcane Changes, greater than 100% status having meaning, status mod buffs, grenade markers.
Shotgun status.
Shotgun status is within the
Yep.
greater than 100%.
Yep.
Grenade markers, Kuva Lich murmurs/fixes, deferred rendering opt-in, HDR preview opt-in, closing, and then a bonus item about FOV increases. All right.
This is going to be an amazingly exciting.
Every now and then we'll
Yep.
sneak something in for Jeff because he didn't come. All right, we'll do something that Jeff will get mad at, such as we'll do that at the end. Some bonus stuff.
This is going to be, I think, a dry stream.
No, it's not.
But I think it's
Not for me.
I'm reading, not for Scott. I started reading Brian Greene's End of Time, and this morning on my way into work, I was thinking about, I'm reading the chapters about entropy, which I barely understand, and I think the goal with what we're doing, and the reason why we're doing it, I think can be summed up with fighting the entropy of the many good game design systems we've accrued over the many, many years, and finally saying, okay, let's take a look at the things that are creating a lot of inconsistency with how powers interact and how the damage system interacts, and starting to actually fix them, which is nerve-wracking. So we wanted to get in front of you guys, explain what we're doing and why. It's going to change the meta of Warframe. Some of the things, some of the feedback we have gotten internally is, this arcane's broken, and here's the proposed fix, but then I'll have to change my build with the broken arcane. So there is going to be a little bit of patience and kind of openness on your part to sustain these changes. We think they're going to be for the better. But this is a conversation with you guys and with our audience about what we're doing. But that's the kind of long and short of it, I think, is to fight the entropy and really face some things that have been kind of getting crusty for years over the life of the game. Yeah, shake off the rust. We do have, obviously, more in the works that is, I suppose, would be, we have new content and that sort of thing. We're not going to be really talking a lot about that today because we wanted to give you guys a heads up about the design and the fundamental changes that we're working on.
Exactly, and we'll kick off a platinum prize after that.
And we're going to bribe you all stream.
We're going to bribe you all stream.
We are going to double the platinum prizes for this stream.
No.
Yes, we are.
Okay, we are.
We're going to double the platinum prizes for this stream.
So 2,000 platinum?
Because if you're watching this boring stream with
1,000.
all the
It's
stats,
not boring. It's
you
not
deserve to
boring.
be paid or a chance
Stop
to be
it.
paid.
Every graph equals a platinum prize.
Doing 6 prizes or 3 prizes?
Six prizes.
Six
prizes.
Thanks, Steen.
So Lil_Moisty has won 333.
Also not
Oh,
dry.
right. No. Lil_Moisty333 has won 1,000 platinum on Twitch, and Soul Riveria on Mixer has won 1,000 platinum. It's not boring, and in case you have been convinced by Steve that it somehow will be boring, we have a little bit of that sizzle to start things off to give you the date expectations for the content updates.
Okay.
So let's quickly just drop that in.
All right.
We can take a look at the fact that in early March you will be getting Operation Scarlet Spear. This is the biggest lore event in probably a long time for Warframe, and hopefully you guys will have a chance to check it out. When it launches, you'll enjoy what the
Can I pump that a little bit more?
hell yeah, brother.
So Operation Scarlet Spear is the first rollout of Squad Link
Yes.
that we showed last year, which will be, I think if you squint at the picture, you'll see that there's obviously multiple missions that are going to be interleaved together.
And we can take a look at that live
we're
on gameplay.
We are?
We'll just show the
We'll just kind
foundation
show
of it.
Yeah, so this is going to be a very interesting event, unlike any other, where there's real-time cross-mission Squad Link play that's going to be happening.
And then in April, we'll have the Corpus Remaster and deep dive into the Corpus with the Deadlock Protocol.
With the Deadlock Protocol, we've shown a little bit of the art rework, but there is, I can't even believe I'm saying it. There's a quest that's coming with the Warframe for the Deadlock Protocol. There is a Jackal kind of...
Today, we'll get to that another stream. This is not the content stream.
Okay, all right.
You're cut off.
Anyway,
you said
we
this
have
had
this.
to be
We
boring.
have this stuff.
Okay,
yeah.
and then the key art, of course, for the upcoming Operation Scarlet Spear.
Yep.
Here is what awaits you, Tenno. So, there you go. Shit's getting real.
It's gonna be awesome.
All right. And then we have, in addition to that, if people are wondering just exactly how the lore will get pushed forward, in addition to the event itself being a lore event, there will also be a on login. For some players, we're still figuring out the exact details, but if you open the mockup V2, you can see that there's going to be a third connecting piece to the Chimera Prologue, the Era Prologue, and then there's going to be a third piece releasing with Operation Scarlet Spear.
Right, because New War is basically chapters. That's why we're presenting it this way. This isn't Chimera Prologue. This is New War and the components to it.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to, I know a lot of you have missed the Era
Yes.
story reveal.
Yes, which is a perfect place to start off our agenda. Sorry, but you can say something. Was that intentional?
No.
Was that intentional? What were you going to say?
I was going to say, my tape on my glasses is kind of breaking. I was going to say that that stuff will be surfaced, and you'll be
Yes.
able to kind of click through those things and watch them.
Okay, well, let's.
Does that connect somehow?
Yes,
It does,
It does.
to number one.
It's literally the first thing on the agenda.
Yes. Look how excited she is.
Oh my god. Okay, can you open the agenda again, Dean?
Let's
Nope.
look at that agenda slide again.
Let's take another look at that agenda slide. So they're starting their own agenda. Okay, Railjack onboarding changes.
Oh, yes, okay,
All
sure.
right.
That
So,
counts. Barely.
all right, Dean, let's go back to the screen. So basically, we have a very awesome stats team, and over time, as we're looking for Era to be the connecting piece to the next part of the story that we're trying to tell with Warframe, we have basically come to the conclusion that the grind is too high to own your own Railjack. It did serve as a way for veterans to get rid of their stockpiles, but generally speaking, the fall-off rate for people completing Rising Tide is much higher than other quests because of the grind involved. So what we're doing is with the first mainline of 2020, so everything we're talking about today is going to release before Scarlet Spear. So all of these 20 things are going to come as sort of a revised update for Warframe, and then the content is going to come after. So everything today comes in a batch, and then Scarlet Spear will launch as an event.
So we can
Yeah.
shake out the bugs out
Yeah.
of.
Yep. And I would say I know what Chad is typing right now, which is, it's too hard to get a Railjack, duh. And
Yeah.
we certainly did know that. Our stats team just helped kind of shape
Yes.
how dire the situation was. We all had the intuition,
Yeah.
and we all did see the feedback as well.
So, Dean, if you can come to my screen. Of course, depending on how big your stockpiles were as a veteran, you may not have had issues. So, and there's going to be 3 exact states you'll find yourself in. You have not started the quest, you're halfway through it, or you finished it like myself. If you finished it, not only do you get the difference back in all the resources that you used to complete it, so this is the difference, which means that the sum of all the resources have a difference between them, and this is what I'm getting back. But you'll also get 2 repair drones just for being an early adopter. So if you're part way through the quest, you'll get 1, and if you haven't started, then you'll just get the new cost quest.
New
Wow,
costs,
we're
yeah.
fancy.
Yes. So that's what the onboarding changes are going to be to the Rising Tide and owning a Railjack. Yeah, so if you go to my... Pardon? Yeah, it's a mail-in rebate. So because you're an early adopter, you get... So in my case, because I've completed it, I have 22 attachments to go through. This will be dynamic depending on where you are in the quest. But yeah, so if you want to get 2 repair...
5.5 million credits, basically. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
If you
There
want
go.
to get 2 repair drones, finish the quest before this update launches, just saying. All right, so that's the first thing on the agenda. That's what's changing with Railjack onboarding.
That's great.
Yeah, we're going to applaud for
Yep, that's fantastic.
That's great.
Yep, and again, what Rebecca's showing there is we know that it was too much, and we are trying to kind of apologize by giving you a whole surge of some of those resources back and inviting more people to play.
Yep.
Obviously, fixes go with
Yeah,
that,
so
which is a
items-
huge
yes.
component to the main line.
Is the Railjack Bug Fixes.
Yes.
So that is the second item on the agenda.
That's right.
The whys are not necessarily very deep. We just need to fix the Railjack content.
Yep, and so this year, I think looking at our bug counts, we've done a bit of internal restructuring and started to increase the amount of bug triage that we're doing, which is basically just another way of saying we've changed some of the management on how we are trying to fix the game for you guys. The other thing I think that's connected to that we're working on right now, which we are unfortunately not able to do in time for Scarlet Spear, is to have time-limited windows where we invite a heck of a lot more of you into the test cluster. So the team right now is working on this, where we're going to have basically, we have our trusted group of test cluster people that we rely on moment to moment and day to day, but we're looking at having, and of course they are careful not to spoil anything, but we are also looking at this year having a big surge of the number of people that we're inviting to play builds before they go out to everyone. So that's kind of part of improving our bug triage and improving the surface area that we're covering to fix those bugs.
So stay tuned for how that will be
Yep.
rolled out. Because it's probably not going to be everyone in the world can
It
play
is
on
not going to be everyone in the world. It's
Yeah.
actually going to be quite small because the server cluster that the test stuff runs on is like a virtual machine running on, I think it's probably Scott's laptop
Yeah.
from his last job he had before he worked at DE.
From my iPhone.
So
Running
it's a
off my
little
iPhone.
underpowered, but it will be enough, I think, to do an order of magnitude more surface area.
Speaking of an order of magnitude of changes, the item 3, armor, health, and shields. So the history with this one is that right now,
Ooh, that segue.
I know the enemies in Warframe become harder to kill when their stats go up, their effective hit points. Their health, their shield, or their armor determines this. Since the dawn of time, armor has been the sort of
Only game in town.
the only game in town
Yeah.
for
That mattered.
That mattered
Yeah.
because it would scale in a way that made the EHP of enemies just very, very high. What this meant was your corrosive projections or your corrosive procs were the only game in town, and people just did not like that. They didn't like not only just that, just the armor being the gateway for the lifespan of these enemies. So what we're going to do?
Yeah, I mean, as in the differentiation of our factions, armor is the way it just mathematically structured is vastly superior to all other forms. We'll be getting to the other factions, mind you, in a moment. But the one thing that we haven't liked for a while is how armor scales infinitely into the sky.
Yes. Which if you
All of them do.
All of them do.
Armor is the
Armor
thing
is the biggest one that has the most dramatic impact on effective health.
yes.
Yep.
So if you come to my screen now, Dean, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a graph that has 3 different things represented. And because when I hover, you can get a better view of which one we're talking about. For the colorblind folk, we're going to make sure that we're going to speak to what each line represents when I hover over them so that we don't say the blue line or the yellow line. So the blue line, what does that represent?
Someone in chat loves graphs. That's awesome.
All right.
The blue line is the current exponential scaling.
So this is what happens right now with
Yep.
armor on an enemy. So level 100 enemy in the game has this much of an armor value, which multiplies its EHP.
And these are factors, so this is,
So
these graphs are made quickly, but this is the how you can see it scales up.
yes.
And there's no end in sight. Up and up and up it goes. Yep.
Now, what we're doing
You
is
can picture that curve just continuing.
it
to
just
go
goes,
up,
goes.
till it's almost going straight up.
Now, the segment that I'm hovering now has a slight of an S curve to it, as you can see here. Instead of it being a straight up rising ramp, it is a curve that in the lower levels, you can see a lower value. And then once you get to that crossing point around level 75, it starts to taper off. So this blended S curve is what the new math will be determining an enemy's armor value with level.
Yes, as they level up around, as you can see, around 70-ish, it's going to start, the growth is going to stop becoming exponential.
Yes.
And it's going to have this kind of diminishing returns to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And health and shields also follow the same curve style, only the tail of the S is, the slants are changed.
So, Dean, if you come back to us, we can just briefly explain what that means. So, you look at the graph, you understand on paper what's happening, and as Scott said, the curve for the health and shields will change a bit.
Yeah, the tail of the S would basically, for armor, it stays flatter. For shields and health, it will be steeper, so to make them a little bit more important as they scale up.
Right. And what what are we hoping this achieves for the change for the game in terms of the actual gameplay at these levels? Because right now, it used to, 5 years ago, 30 was sort of the cap, and now we've kind of reached territories where level 80, even in the high-end Railjack missions, you're getting level 80 enemies. In sorties, you're getting level 80 to 100. So in that range now, you'll be able to have a bit more of a build variety because you don't need to focus on corrosive.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the
Warframe.
intention.
Yeah, Warframe is a game of diversity, and there's 40 plus Warframes and hundreds of weapons, and hundreds of mods, and limiting it to a very small subset that actually can deal with the high-end stuff is wrong.
Yep.
So this should allow a higher diversity of builds to be viable in the end game.
Excellent. And this actually
It is going to be difficult to predict because I think we're only on item 3.
yeah. So there's a lot.
So I think again, if I think you need to, if you're watching at home and saying we've nerfed it, we've made the game too easy.
Just wait.
We got more to talk
Yeah.
about. This is kind of part of a larger thing. So let's keep trucking.
The one other change that's interesting in the the armor, health, shield conversation is the way that applies to you as a player. We've added a new Tenno label version of these stats. Up until now, they were shared with AI, which meant
So if anyone's really dug deep into the way the mechanics work about Warframe, there's like a shield type and a health type and a armor type, and those types on Tenno were shared with AI. So there was varying weaknesses and resistances to different health types that were shared with the base AI of the game. So you as a player had the same sort of shield as a level 1 corpus guy, so you were more susceptible to, like, say, impact damage, just because that was shared.
yes.
So we gave Tenno their own, which we probably should have done from the beginning, and kind of neutralize that. Currently, we're playing with shields having a kind of a flat 25% damage reduction.
Yep.
Across the board for all damage types. That's up for debate still as we're testing, but that's currently a way to bring more emphasis to shields.
Yes, and we're changing as well the recharge delay between a fully depleted shield and a just partially depleted. So just minor things there. If you're able to sort of keep your shield up, if you get into cover fast enough, it'll come back faster than a full depleted shield.
Yes.
Yes. And of course, we will get to a section called shield gating later. But before we do, the Infested are also getting a little bit of a touch up in their own section. We didn't want to overlook them on these curves by not only just changing their health stat or armor where applicable. We're also, because they're a close range enemy that telegraph most attacks, we are just simply increasing the damage of those so that if they have managed to get close to you, the parkour space ninja, they're just going to hit harder. So they're the mobility faction for defensive purposes. Stay mobile, bullet jump away, and
If we're talking about factions too, we shouldn't glance over the fact that the corpus shields have generally changed. Most enemies now have a shield gate. They have a weak spot on them, like the headshot, that will bypass the shield gate. They have a bleed over, so if you bring your really high level Opticore back to a level 1, you can still pancake a level 1 corpus crewman using that weapon, because there's a small percentage of damage that bleeds over past the shield gate if you manage to take it all out.
yeah, and we can show that live too.
Yeah, there's also
We'll get to the shield gating section. It'll be full of gameplay.
You were talking about the factions, so I wanted to make sure that the corpus weren't skipped over.
The corpus are, and I mean, they're about to get a remaster, so you better be prepared to fight that cult of money, because they're ready for you. So another thing with enemies overall is the AI aimbot thing. Sometimes you'll see players make threads saying, oh, the AI just aimbotted me out of nowhere. And what we've done in this case is we've reviewed the way that accuracy is tuned at high levels to change it so that is less of a occurrence. Yeah,
so when we originally obviously launched the game, the AI levels were kind of between 0 and 30 as a baseline for testing and balancing. That's kind of what we were looking at. Over the years, that's grown quite substantially, but the data remained kind of clamping the aiming and the aggro system we have for AI from 0 to 30, basically. So we separated out the aiming from the aggro. We spread it across up to basically level 75, and we dropped the very high-end aim down slightly so that they're not so accurate and so quick to get that high-end accuracy.
Yeah, so there's a broader range of accuracy. There's still the factors of, are you moving, are you jumping?
Yes.
That mobility factors into how likely they are to miss as well.
I think like a 75 or a level 75 elite lancer with the aim graph going, standing completely still, has about an 80% chance to hit you.
Yep.
If you start moving, that percentage dramatically falls depending on which parkour move you're doing and the velocity you're moving, at the distance you're moving, all the way down to 0. So they'll still completely miss you.
The other fix I saw go in related to this was the burst weapon stuff. Did you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Burst multi-shot weapons were the second and third shot were basically guaranteed hits.
Yep. Perfect aimbot.
Perfect aimbot.
Didn't even check the aiming
Yeah.
system.
So the Harpack, it's an enemy burst weapon, the burst
Yeah.
and
So you
fire.
can imagine those the AI types that use burst weapons and be like, oh, okay,
That's why I
That's
did.
why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. This is actually really interesting. There you go, Steve.
I saw one guy had to go take a poop, so
Okay.
it's a mix.
Okay.
People find it interesting, but also people bathroom
Well,
break.
that was only item number 5.
You know what else people find it?
Platinum prize? Let's do
Let's
it.
do another platinum
I
prize.
think every graph is a platinum prize.
Every yeah, there you go. Popcorn. All right. So that's why the Kraken enemies felt so strong sometimes. Oh, Vegan Patchy has one on Twitch, and people_Texas_Kings has one on Mixer. So make sure you call us on the Twitch whispers, on the Mixer messages to give us ye old prize. So that was just item number 5. Now we're on item 6, shield gating, friend and foe. So, as Scott was just explaining, the friend aspect of shield gating is as follows, which is you as a player, your shields.
Yes, players now, everyone has a shield gate.
Shield gates. How do they work? What is the nature?
Shield gate, so shield gate is if you have an active shield and you take a shot, it'll actually nullify all the damage. It won't spill into your health pool.
Yes.
Unless you're an AI, it will spill about 5%, you said?
Yes,
About
it's 5%.
So there still
Depending
is,
on a weak spot, if it's a weak spot, it's 100% spillover.
and if you hit a weak spot
So you
on a
can-
corpus, you can actually spill right through and do a one shot on it.
Tenno don't have this
Tenno
feature.
don't have the one shots, so it's going to reduce the sort of instant kill aspects.
Yeah, so we explored shield gating before, and Hildren went out with shield gating. I think the fix that has kind of made this more viable, a lot of our enemies in our game are very high fire rate enemies, right?
Yes,
So it's
totally.
a lot of bullets coming out a lot of time. There's very few that are just the one shots. The normal shield gate would block that one shot kill, but the high fire rate guys never really give you an opportunity to go, oh, I'm in trouble. So we put a very small window of invulnerability between when the shield gate trips to when it starts chewing into your health. So even in a high fire rate situation, players should be able to register that their shields are gone and start doing something about it.
Yeah.
It's very small though, and it's something we'll play with as we go, but it is there. So there's a very small moment of invulnerability between them.
Yes, and people are asking about how damage will work with this, and the way that we're specifically slash and toxin. So the way this is going to work is it's going to be sort of archetypal. Slash damage will still deal damage over time to any slash procs. You'll be doing your dots, you'll be taking your slash. Toxin will still be direct to health damage. But slash procs on a shielded unit will now deal slash damage over time to the shield and then eventually the health if it breaks it down. So slash is very good against Grineer or armored enemies. It's still good against shields if you can take their shields down, it'll do the health damage. But toxin will bypass shields. So there's a bit more of a archetype across those damage types as well.
Yeah, less blending, I think.
Yes.
Less fuzziness.
People are saying,
I'm just going to use a sniper here. This is a level 200 enemy. Actually, maybe I'll switch. This is a level 200 enemy, but if you don't hit the weak points, which would be
You're
a
gonna shoot him
headshot.
right in the junk,
I'm
right?
going to shoot him right in the junk. So that, the shield gate saved him.
I can't
So-
believe you're demoing
The shield
him
gate
in the
saved
junk.
him.
You can see the bleed over as
But
well.
you can see the bleed over. So it
Yeah.
did eat into his health. So the
If you
shield
do
gate
a
saved
torso
him.
shot, my God.
But obviously the headshot will kill him. Had I landed just a headshot, which I probably could have just spawned 2 enemies, but the junk shot would have been less dramatic. So had I just done a headshot, dead. So you can bypass shield gating on corpus enemies or shielded enemies with skill in landing your shots.
That's right.
So that's sort of the intent there.
Yeah.
So the shield gate
Yep.
saved him, not in the head.
And I think there's a little lore reveal there because we have confirmed that the groin is not a weak point in the corpus.
It's not.
So that's
It's not.
actually part of the lore of the corpus that you learned today. In real life, it is a weak point. Just
Oh, right.
keep that in mind, okay?
All right, now we're going to go right into self-damage changes because getting hit in the groin in real life would be self-damage, wouldn't it?
No. If you hit
Depends who
yourself
hits
in the
the
belly.
I guess it depends who hits you.
Yeah.
All right. So self-damage has been one of those things, especially with the release of the Kuva Brahma, that cannot benefit from the cautious shot mod that reduces self-damage, that players have just said, just take it out of the game. So we did. Self-damage will be removed from Warframe, but it's being replaced with
I
a
was gonna
self...
say, wow, you make some tall. You sound like corpus
I know.
leadership.
You can no longer kill yourself with... You can come to the gameplay, Dean. You can no longer kill yourself with self-damaging weapons.
Except for your Sentinel.
Except for your Sentinel. That was on purpose.
There still is a skill component here
Yes.
to balance out the crazy AoEs that these have.
But you cannot kill yourself, which
cannot
is
kill yourself.
what...
Which is very important.
Yes, that is...
Yes. Here's this really powerful weapon.
Yeah.
Blow yourself up 90% of the time.
Yeah.
So what's happening here? So if I get, let's get four butchers. Let's just make them level 75 to do our new armor scaling. Pause AI. Simulate. Here we go. Skill component, which means I will demo this horribly.
I was going to say this. We have a nice video of this
I know,
as well.
which is actually my video,
Yeah,
but
use the
Yeah.
video.
no. So if I was, playing a mission and I got too close, you now do self-interrupts.
You also did the cool version of that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you actually do the recovery?
Yes.
You're not supposed to
Yeah.
demo that. You're supposed
Yeah,
to.
you're supposed to show the full and then
Oh.
the recovery.
Oh, sorry. Well, I just wanted to look cool.
Yeah. Wow.
Sorry, guys. I looked cool.
Yeah.
All right. So. It's auto. There you go.
You're
Must
cool.
be on for testing.
Yep.
There you go. So you can do ninja recoveries from your AoE, blast rocket weapons.
And they all, if you do the recovery correctly, you can also double jump and also dodge out of it as well now.
Yes. So it's gonna. Can you? Sorry. Can you say that again?
I said if you do the recovery correctly, you're still open for a double jump or a dodge out of it as well.
Ah.
So that you can parkour your way out of harm's way. And
Holy shit. So, what does that mean for all your weapons that deal self-damage? They will all be transitioning into this stagger system, the interrupt system. You will be able to no longer kill yourself if an ally walks in front of you, if an enemy strafes you, whatever it may be. It's going to have this new component.
Sentinel just happens to
Your Sentinel, your cat, your dog, whatever it is. They will not, any mods that speak to self-damage will be adjusted to fit this new system. As a result, all weapons have had their damage approximately, that follow into this category, approximately increased by 20%. But what's happened is we've done a fall off radius for damage overall. So the nuclear impact site, and that's...
They also had their radiuses
Yes.
grown by a small amount as well.
Yeah, radius is a bit bigger, more damage, but now there's a sort of ground
A
zero
fall
point.
off.
Yep.
So there's also varying degrees of how you'll stagger yourself. So for example, if you are just on the outside, see how I just flinched there? The closer you are to the explosion, the more extreme the stagger.
That's cool.
So if you're just, on the outskirts, which I am here, you can see my Umbra just flinching.
Yep.
That's because I'm out the blast radius. But
Yep.
if I was right in front of this enemy, then that's when I would get the most extreme version of the stagger.
Yep.
So there you go. And that is how your self-damage weapons will behave in the first mainline update of the year.
So chat's saying rest in peace Chroma,
Ah, yes.
right? So have we got that in our notes, how that's going to work?
Well,
It won't.
it won't.
Yep.
Yep.
So,
So rep.
yeah, I mean, the reality there is, do you have a...
Do we keep self-damage to benefit one Warframe, or do we remove it to allow all those
Yeah.
weapons to be viable again?
Right. Right.
These are... This
This is the give and take.
This is the give and take. So that will be the case for that. How permanent that is, I mean, that will be. Self-damage is gone. We're going to have to see what happens. Once the build's live for maybe a week, we can look into changes, but it's not going to be a reaction before.
And what will cautious shot do now?
It will stagger reduction.
Okay.
Or something else. I think they were
Yes.
still experimenting.
Yeah, I think there's levels of the stagger that we talked about. There's the flinch, there's the stagger, there's the knockdown,
Yep.
and then there's the full ragdoll. Cautious shot, I think, if Joe told me this correctly, will basically drop a level.
Okay.
So even on the closest, you might just get the flinches or the staggers
All right.
versus getting pancaked.
All right.
Yes. All right. Next on our list on the agenda, let's pull it up real quick just to see how far we've gotten through. We are on item 8, Excavator Health Shield
Not even
Scaling.
halfway.
Nah, we'll go. This is a fast one. We'll just go quick. Since the dawn of time, man has wondered how he could destroy the sun, and now, with the power of the excavation changes, he can. So what's happening here is we are adding scaling health and shields to excavator drones that drop from the sky in your excavation missions. They will follow the mobile defense scaling, and this is
Yes.
going to be live in this update as well.
Yes.
So as I hop into a mission, if you want to add any more points on that, it's pretty straightforward, not a lot.
No more points to add.
Yeah. So you guys can just see it in action.
They scale now.
You can see it in action to see the
No more one shots from liches.
no more one shots from liches,
2 shots.
2 shots. So if I go to my dig site, let's take a look at the UI on the left, and pa-bam! It is no longer flat. It has scaled with the mission. So there you go. Excavation missions now scale. Item number.
That was a long.
Oh no! I lost my preferred sheet. Too many pages. Oh, here we go. Titania changes and the Vauban tweak. Titania changes, which were covered in a past stream, everything from the tribute selection to minor changes to the self-casting of Spellbind, to Lantern now being tethered. All of this is also shipping with the mainline, in addition to Vauban receiving an armor buff.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a very small tweak.
Very small tweak.
Twick.
A twick. So he has an armor buff as well, just for a bit more survivability. So that is also coming with the mainline. Reward changes to nodes. So this is also coming with the mainline. So what this means is, Dean, if you'll come to my screen, right now, a player journeying through the star chart will have them, they basically will be playing every node to complete and play their arbitrations. Each of these nodes has a base mission reward table. And right now, those reward tables, often or not, are made up of denominations of credits and endo. So if you're doing a mission on Earth, the endo rewards might be 10% for 15 endo, 10% for 50 endo, 10% for 80 endo. We're just doing a bit of house cleaning and cutting the lower end of all those so that you'll only be the only endo or credit value you'll get will be the highest one in those tables. It's not an earth-shattering change for these rewards, but as players are playing through the star chart, they should see a minor bump in the amount of those items they're getting because they won't
And
roll.
also, higher players won't be getting
Yes.
absolutely useless stuff.
Yeah. Higher players won't be getting the total bottom of the category things, and we're looking on furthering these changes later. But for the mainline, this is what will be coming. It's just going to be some housekeeping. So we will be getting rid of the lowest tier for those. As for select UI changes from Dev Workshop Part 2, if you are a studious tenno, such as Steve is here with his glasses on, you will have noticed that
I think I lost my tape.
You lost-
Oh, no,
what?
I got a little bit left.
Now.
Yep.
I have so much paper at this point, I almost feel...
You killed a tree just to bring this,
I really feel like I did, but that's...
and then it's not helping you.
I'll keep... No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
We will be doing... the item labels will be set to on by default, so if you're a player that likes to see what the icons represent, the labels will be on by default in the game. Avionics screen will be... Yeah. So,
Whoa.
if we click...
Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not that, but item labels will be on by default. So that's this here that allows you to get descriptions of the labels of the items.
What else we got going on in that regard?
In the UI,
Yeah.
we
What was the
have
other
hold
thing
to
that we did?
confirm being added to the abort screen so people don't accidentally abort arbitrations on consoles. Hold to confirm will no longer be used on intrinsics and avionics.
Yep.
The death screen, if you're dead but your squad's alive, will preserve the HUD so you can see mission and squad status. There will
Great.
be a forge all button on the payloads and dojos. We're putting more stats. Actually, don't know if this one's hooked up yet, but I am curious to see. There will be more stats on the display, the detailed preview window. So if I actually search, for example, for Kuva Brahma, well, not Braid. Will this work? Kuva.
It's there.
Come. I'll just do this one. It does.
Oh, okay.
Showing, yeah, so you'll get the stats right away now. You won't need to hover over to see
That was
the
the
stats.
other one I was.
So this will
thinking
be
of, yeah.
just a bit more details for the items you're looking at in game. So those will all be shipping with the mainline as well. All right, so that's select changes from the UI Part 2 workshop.
Oh.
All right, so that'll be coming. Mainline.
Oh.
Mainline 2020. All right. Next up, 100 times resource blueprints. Right now, you can get your 10 times resource blue, not restore, not resource. If you want to build 10 energy restores at a time, you can get the blueprint to do so from your syndicates. We're adding the ability to build 100 from clan research. So if you want to find a way to get your 100, you can build batches of 100 large squad. You can research them in the dojo. They will be using Railjack resources to give more meaning to the Railjack resources you're accruing. These are currently scaled for a shadow clan, and you can get those here. So if you've got your shadow, we might change the costs not final, but you can expect Railjack resources to be a part of it for you to get the research to create your very own 100 batches of large
Pizza
research.
factory.
It's a pizza factory.
Yeah, it's no longer a shop, it's a factory.
Factory.
The things that make me cringe: the aspect ratio of the icon and the UI label getting cropped off the side. So
Dev build!
work in progress, dev build.
Dev build. All right.
Yep.
Also on the list.
Okay. We're just ripping through this. I love it.
It's what time is
Well,
it?
I know we got to
It's
make.
2:45.
Do we need to do another reward right now?
Yes,
Let's
do
do
a
some
reward.
platinum
Do
right
a
now.
reward.
Like
Let's make it rain.
Yep. Finally, something to use RJ mats on. Faux show. All right, here we go. What's You can read them out, Steve, while I get organized here.
Capped Crunch 1911 on Twitch and Onizuka Tenno. Hey, love that name on Mixer.
Amazing.
Yep.
Amazing.
Very cool.
All right. Congrats. You got to message us and say, here's my platform, here's my name. Look me up. And we'll give it to you. Next up on the list is Sentinel sharing weapon mods. On the live version of Warframe, if your Ogress has a max rank serration on it, it belongs to that Ogress and you cannot share it with your Sentinel. So if you have a Sentinel that wants to have a serration on it as well, you have to max a second. We're now just allowing them to simply be shared. So you can simply, you can sell your other serration if you want to, because now you can just equip the same on both. So that's a little one, but it's a big wish list item.
You got a lot of good all caps responses on that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Someone's saying it's about 40 years too late, and so on and so forth. But,
Damn.
it is here.
It is here. The reason being there have been so many systems for you to invest your time in that have been added since mods that the value proposition of maxing a second mod is now something that maybe you'd want to just put it into another system entirely at this point. We have focus, syndicates, everything that just might be.
And also the inventory juggling that it creates is sloppy and gross and just needed to go away.
Yep. There you go. All right.
Nothing worse than getting your load all done and then hitting yep, and then it's like, oh, that's shared on there. And you're like,
For Peter's sake.
yes, that's what I was going to say.
Peter's sake. Hey,
Peters.
that's a bourbon-free profanity. All right, next up is Arcane Changes. So this is the change that is basically built on the foundation of all health armor changing. So because all of that is changing, Arcanes are getting in some ways, because if shield gating is a thing,
Just give it to her.
just give it to me.
Just let
give
her
it to
say
me.
that's
That was the
why.
reason. Yeah.
Well, because shield gating
She
got
wrote
added.
a better one in the workshop.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you why. So because shield gating got added, the Arcane Aegis was like, oh, should we change this? What should we do? And then we started looking at everything Arcane.
Yeah, I guess it opened up a can of worms like many things. So Arcanes were kind of always meant to be like a special thing that happens that can turn the tide of combat. Double stacking them basically created those things happening far too often. So we are going to remove double stacking.
Yes.
But we are going to, across the board, move all Arcanes that you could double stack to rank 5.
Yes.
And so that will also basically mean they all grow to about 1.5 times their base power. And then we are doing a audit of the current Arcanes and kind of nerfing and buffing and kind of hopefully normalizing the crew so there is more diversity in the builds that people want to run, and it isn't just the same 3. You must get these, everyone's farming for just these. Meanwhile, there's 33 other ones that are just sitting there rotting, and no one wants them. So we're buffing the low end. We're trying not to nerf the top end too hard. We're adding the I guess a cooldown or a refresh mechanic to them. So some were proccing far too often, but they were still like fun to use. So instead, we're adding like some of the instant ones. We're adding a little bit of duration to them and not allowing them to refresh while that duration is going on. So basically, a small cooldown mechanic for some of the really powerful ones, just to kind of throttle them a bit and bring some of the other ones up. So,
So
that's the plan. So we're doing an audit of basically all the arcanes and giving them a little bit of buff and nerf and change and
across the board. So if you
Yep.
come to my screen now, you'll see that historically, if you wanted to avoid the radiation damage effect in Eidolon battles, you would equip 2 maxed arcane healings. 2, all your arcanes are used for that particular effect. Now 1 will give you 100% resistance, so you can use 102% resistance. So you could use that second arcane slot. So say you wanted to do one that had to do with armor, you could use one for that. So if you wanted your arcane tanker, which at rank 5 now gives you, if you equip your arc gun, you get plus 1200 armor for 10 seconds. So you could switch that other arcane out for something else. Arcane ultimatum on a finisher, you'll get 100% chance plus 1200 armor for 8 seconds. So
or 8 seconds, 8 seconds, 8 seconds.
8 seconds, 8 seconds, 8 seconds.
Work in progress.
Work in progress.
Yep.
Work in progress.
Yep.
Yes, so that will be something that changes across the board.
This is going to be a change to the meta, and we totally understand this particular change. I think is a bit scary for some of you in
Yep.
chat. I can see a lot of negative or reluctant reactions, but we are going to do a balance pass, as Scott said, on the existing arcanes that we think are going to increase the diversity and make sure that there's not just 1 or 2 double stacked arcanes as the only ones that are valuable and the rest are trash. So we will be listening, but we think that the current situation in entropy is not a good one for the reasons that there are other arcanes that are completely useless. I mean, you were telling me about the one healing one that's like an absolute joke right now. Which one was that?
And
You were
I meant
talking
nullifier,
about?
by the way. I meant arcane nullifier for
Yep.
magnetic damage,
Yeah.
not radiation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brain fart.
Like some of the healing
There
ones.
there's some then you
The
when you
healing
start-
ones that have a radius of like 5 meters or
yes,
something like that.
Yes, when you pick up a healing orb, it was literally a 5-meter radius.
Yeah, as though you're already standing on it anyway.
like
so.
the guy would have to simultaneously be picking up the same
Yep.
orb as you in order for it to do anything.
Yep.
So
Yeah, on health pickup. So this one is, the nearby one.
yeah, which another thing I need to talk to Pablo about is some of the ones that have radius and strength in them aren't listed correctly.
Ah.
See, like that is just saying 40% chance to heal a nearby enemy.
How nearby?
How nearby?
Yes.
How much? So there's a few stats that aren't surfaced in the arcanes as well.
Yes.
Which I think might be fun to surface.
And I can see people in chat saying, well, the other arcanes are useless because you made them boring or useless. And of course, that's why we're here talking about this.
Yeah,
which is
so we
for
are
us to
bringing up the
correct
low
that.
end. We're
Yeah.
getting input on which are the worst and bringing them up. So hopefully we can kind of normalize it so that players can see that there's options and there's choice. And it isn't just find these 2 and be done.
Those are the only 3 that matter.
That's right.
Like having the options and only having 3 matter is just.
And again, I think the community team, to their credit, has done a very good job in communicating changes like this that might not be popular or will have a lot of, receive a lot of reluctance. So I can potentially see us changing drop rates to kind of
Yes.
compensate for those extra ranks. So there'll be ways, I think, we're really not trying to squeeze you guys for a ton of extra grind here. We're trying to actually fix the meta to be a bit
So
more diverse.
by going to rank 5, you can actually absorb your double stacked ones. So there is still a use for those.
There is a still
Yeah,
use
if you
for
have 2
those.
arcane guardians fully ranked, you can use your fully ranked one to go feed into arcane guardian to make almost a rank 5 perfect one. I think you just need 1 more.
one.
And that is the thing. Well,
and it's not, and just to repeat this again, this is not any of the stuff you hear today. We may have to do drop table changes to compensate. The goal here is not at all to increase the grind for anything we're talking about.
yeah, we don't want to say, okay, now go have fun doing your Eidolons again, because we are with Operation Scarlet Spear. We're
That's
going to be
right.
adding all the arcanes to the reward manifest for
That's
you to
right.
choose what ones you get as you participate in the event. So
We want to correct mistakes in the meta. We do not want to squeeze you for more grind.
No, you'll be able to play Scarlet Spear as you're playing, doing your squad links, getting your points. You can.
That's right.
Little Duck will be providing all the arcanes for you to pick and choose which ones.
Oh, little duck.
Little Duck.
Little Duck.
Little
Yes.
duck, little duck.
Yes, you don't have to go back and just do Eidolons. So make
Great.
sure y'all. that is a.
Y'all.
Yeah, make sure y'all spread the word on that. So you don't need to wait till it's
Wow.
night. You don't need to do that. It'll be in the Operation Scarlet Spear reward. Operation Vendor store. So if you're used to that from things like Dog Days or Plague Star, the Arcanes will be there.
Fantastic.
Yes. So,
All right.
All
Okay,
right.
so we survived this one, which I was the most nervous about. Let's move on and change the subject
Yeah.
quickly.
No, well.
Let's do a plat reward
So,
just to kind of like
all of
clear
this-
that out.
All
in
of
the
these
air.
papers that we're filing through, this is the dev workshop. It will be live the second we're done talking about everything. So you can read everything we've just said in a written form. Once
They're
we're
transcribing the entire
Yeah.
Devstream.
Exactly.
No, yeah,
All right.
you'll read all this.
Wicked
Yeah.
Cricket 666, you've won on Twitch, and Deathfire 3, you've won on Mixer. So
Awesome.
get going. Send
All
us
right.
your info. We'll hook you up.
So I saw a comment go by, which I think is very apt, which I think Steve and I have talked about over the last couple weeks, is balance doesn't necessarily mean fun. And I want to, as you were saying, with the drop tables increasing the grind, we still want the power fantasy. We still
That's right.
want the crazy space ninja. We still want you to be mowing through hundreds of enemies and like knife through hot butter.
Yep.
Like that's still the game we're making.
Yep.
We just want to correct some of the problems with this is the only game in town, the
right.
only build.
Yep.
So that's the goal with a lot of this stuff.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
And
Yep.
speaking of things that,
And if we do screw it up and we make something that has reduced the fun, then we're here and we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, let's keep going through our changes.
what a perfect segue. The only game in town, Crit. Crit builds do often dominate the recommended metas for people. But what if status had meaning over 100%? Don't you think?
What
it's-
if?
What if? Well,
What if?
it does. So with the mainline that's coming, if you achieve greater than 100% status chance on a weapon, it will now have meaning. The first meaning will be, say you have a single target, a single bullet weapon, and you have 150, or let's just say 200% status on it, just for easy math. That single shot will achieve 2 status effects. So if you're built for heat and slash, it'll do both of them on the single shot. So now you can roll multiple status effects on a single damage instance if you have greater than 100% status.
You can also double status the same
But that's not all.
damage.
But
type.
that's not
But
all.
that's not all.
But that's not.
Not just once.
Yeah.
None.
Is there Jinsu knives or something with this?
But wait, there's more.
Okay.
So yeah, for one,
Here's a
we-
juicer, a free juicer.
yeah,
Yep.
for one low payment of 100%.
Reb's uncle will come to your house
Yeah,
and clean your floors.
Exactly.
Okay.
We will also be adding a enhanced status effect if you land a duplicate status type on an enemy that's already affected by a proc.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Even in the same frame.
Yes.
Yep.
So walk us through that.
Even in the same frame.
Yes. So
That's it.
That's it.
yeah. So
But
we're
there's a I think we should talk about why we're doing this, which
Yeah.
is shotguns are getting a pretty
Well, no,
dramatic
no.
change.
No, we're not
No?
there yet.
first.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were talking about over 100%.
Yeah.
Which then very quickly opened the crypt of status on shotguns is completely and utterly busted.
Yep.
Yes.
So we also pulled the crypt keeper out and shook off the dust and
Yep.
and fixed that problem as well.
Yeah. So
So this one is, I think this one is also going to be a bit of a contentious change, but very necessary. Shotguns act weird, and at the very top end of status, act completely super weird versus
Yeah.
any other weapon type.
because the UI was always a sort of indication of not what was really happening. If you had a
Right.
99% shotgun status
Yep.
value on your weapon,
Yeah.
it would look a little something like this. So if you can pull up shotguns before,
Looks like an agenda.
yeah. So on live, the red line is basically status on your shotguns did basically per pellet, not too much until you reached 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 99% would basically translate into per pellet was about 37-ish%.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then as soon as you got that 1% more total, you jump from 37% per pellet to 100% per pellet.
Yep.
So it was all or nothing with shotguns.
That was
So
it.
the mid-range status shotguns were basically utter trash,
Yep.
and anything that could achieve over 100% was basically God tier.
Yeah.
And so the green line is as Moses intended, which is a linear status chance for every, we call them fire iterations internally, but for every pellet that a shotgun or trace or projectile shotgun's sending out, that is what the status chance
Would look like.
should have been.
This is not the case. This is not what we're changing it
This
to.
is status
Yep.
divided by number of pellets.
Divided by number of
Not some
pellets.
weird
Yep.
probability math under the hood.
So it's a huge nerf.
But
But
we don't like huge nerfs.
we don't want to do huge nerf. So if we go to the next one, you can see what we've done is 3x the status chance on all shotguns
yes.
across the game. And you can see that we've made the linear curve not only better in the low end and mid-tier cases, much better than it was before, but also intersecting where the math kind of broke and skyrocketed. So the really interesting thing that the multi-status change does and how it interacts with shotguns is, unlike a single damage event, even though, say, you may be on the blue graph there, you might have a 50% chance per pellet, you could actually double proc in the same frame on one enemy, or you can shoot and get really lucky and proc everyone that's in the cloud of pellets. So the multi-proc change, the way it interacts with shotguns makes them kind of more variant. So
Yes.
I'm very curious how this change is going to play out. So we fixed the math and then we've buffed all shotgun status by 3 times.
Yes. We also, across the board, for all weapon types, buff the status chance mods.
Yes, so all the melee prowess mods. So for example, if you are, modding a weapon and you think maybe you're a new player, maybe you're a veteran player, and you want to increase the status of a weapon.
These are like massive buffs.
Yeah, so right now, if you were to put melee prowess on the live build, you would get a mod that only gives you, so much status chance. But now you're going to get up to...
It's 15%, I think.
It's 50, yeah, so you'll get
15,
90%. So
not 50,
15%.
Yeah,
So rifle
so now it's
aptitude
90.
has gone from 15 to 90, melee prowess has gone from 15 to 90, sure shot has gone from 15 to 90, and shotgun savvy has gone from 30 to 90. So the graph we just showed was unmodded.
That's right.
Correct?
That's
so
right.
that was,
Yep.
the shotgun graph was unmodded for
right.
shotguns. So what you saw there would have been the status chance at different, well, unmodded, but if you modded to that percent, then obviously that's what
right.
you're going for. So that will be something that the mod refresh, if you want to dip into the status mod meta, you can start looking into that when these changes ship.
Yes. Which has then opened up the fact that certain status types don't actually stack properly together, and they don't work nice when they're done multiple times. So we're addressing that on a kind of individual basis. Most of them will continually, like if they're statistical changes, they'll stack up kind of sequentially. So, 50 health on 50 health on 50 health on 50 health. Some of the numbers will have to be adjusted now that they can be stacked on top of each other. Ones that are more unique, we are adding, I guess the easiest way to describe it is a more unique double proc on them. So radiation changes the faction, but then if you double proc, we'll actually get a faction damage bonus applied to the AI as well.
Okay, so again, you're not just hitting a radiation proc again.
Again and again and again, which has no meaning.
No meaning.
So we're gonna, for the ones that are unique, we're going in and kind of making sure that they have meaning. For the ones that are statistical, we're making sure that the stacking works correctly, and they also do stack up. So most of the status numbers will probably have to change and be adjusted to deal with this new reality. And the unique ones will have some cool, hopefully, unique things added to them.
Yes.
Can you show my shotgun and is the UI updated yet?
Yes, it is. So if you come to my screen here, I saw a lot of people saying my Corinth. So let's use the Corinth as an example. If right now, I'll just switch to an unmodded Corinth, what you'll see is brand new details in the stats. You're going to get damage per projectile. Actually, Corinth might have been a bad example because there's so many attacks in it. But this, if you have the Corinth on public, you can compare.
Buckshot.
There's a lot that happens with the Corinth.
So but if you can see the status per projectile,
Yes.
now scroll up a little bit.
Up. It's right there. Yep.
It's right here.
Up.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. By 2.
Right here.
Yep.
Yep. So right now you can now see status per projectile, and you're getting a per projectile breakdown of damage.
So you can think of shotguns as, and they've always been this way, but with that weird scoop that penalized sort of middling status, and then that weird math break where it pinned to the ceiling with nowhere to go. You can think of shotguns as the Yahtzee of status, which is the more times you've got your multi-shot there, the more times you're rolling that dice and looking for, now with the new system, maybe double procs, and as well as procs on different enemies within the spread of the weapon.
So this is another one of those things that when we release it, we'll monitor how it's working on live and adjust the numbers as required.
Yes, I'm just going to throw all of them on there.
Yeah, and if you scroll down, does it actually show you the complete total status at the bottom?
At the bottom?
Yeah.
It just shows you total damage
Total
for
damage,
all. So
yeah.
the total footer for each section will
yeah,
show you that.
yeah.
So 60/60 mods
Yeah,
are
yeah.
simply staying as is. I see chat saying 60/60 over and over again.
Yeah.
So what about 60/60 mods? They are as is. So the base status mods, such as the 4 I listed, aptitude, prowess, shotgun, savvy, and shot, will have the status.
Yep.
So that's
Yep.
per projectile. Yes.
So I think if you're watching this and you feel like we've nerfed shotguns, it really isn't that simple, especially combined with the probabilities, multiple rolls per shot, and the chance that actual double status matters more. I think this is actually a buff. I think that's how it's going to pan out.
Yep.
So I don't think you get a RIP your shotguns
No.
at
Just
all.
yet.
Try it out, my friends.
yep.
Try it out. There will be a
And if not, we'll dig it up like the Crypt Keeper
Yeah.
and shake off the dust and try again.
Yes, try it out. And then we're also going to be running a double affinity weekend on the respective platforms after this ships. So you'll have that weekend to, if you want to change some things. It'll just be,
Reform all your...
yes, double affinity. All right, next item.
Another plat prize because we had a graph in there.
Oh, shoot, you're right.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Just saying.
It's 3:05 and we're not even halfway. Well,
And then,
we're more than halfway.
in terms of thinking about consistency, now status and status above 100% is working consistency with all the other weapon types in the game. So shotguns now don't have this crazy outlier sort of, what would you call this, a high entropy state.
oh boy.
Yeah.
The winner of Twitch's 1,000 Platinum is Roask and Mixer is Voshirk. So message us and we'll hook you up. Grenades. Oftentimes enemies throw grenades at you. You can't see them, you can just hear them, and then sometimes you're dead. In the main line, not only will grenades have markers, Dean
And
if you
shield
would,
gating will save you.
and shield gating would save you.
Yep.
So,
want the
yep,
image or the video?
image.
Oh, we have video for this.
So grenades will have waypoint markers on them, and you will be able to destroy grenades if you are skilled enough. Hopefully if you see a
Fantastic.
splash in there, you can run to it and you can destroy the grenade
Can
before.
Grendel eat them? Oh,
Grendel, can he eat them? That is a good question.
we should make that happen.
Yes, so grenades will have markers and you can destroy them before they
Did we
destroy
mention
you.
the Nova change from the last stream? when we were
No,
on?
we didn't, because I didn't. Danielle saw that got hooked up, so we
Yeah,
should.
it did get hooked up.
Yeah, so we'll show that after.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have a video of you like taking out a grenade while it's flying in the air?
I don't have it right now, but I will get one for you.
Man.
So next
right.
up on the list, actually, let me just make sure grenade. Oh, we are. That was item 17. We made good time. So
All right.
that was item 17. Kuva Lich Murmurs and Fixes. What we're doing with Kuva Lich Murmurs for this main line is we are making it so that the Requiem hints received from a Lich that is stabbed with a Parazon that's a failed result will now again be shared with squad mates. So there was a hotfix that went out that took away the ability for your Lich's Parazon attacks to be shared. That's coming back. So now you'll be able to get Murmur progress faster by engaging with your Liches. That will be shared.
As a group.
Great.
In our
Is there
co-op game.
anything else with mainline with liches?
There's stuff we want to do, but
Weapon
it didn't.
duplicity or
It didn't make it
that's not
for
in there
mainline.
yet?
We do have
Okay.
more coming.
Okay.
Megan also was kind enough to add a whole bunch of fixes that are coming. So there's about a page and a half of those just in terms of fixing, but also the Murmur change. So
Yep.
more to come there, just not right now.
Yep.
The last two items on the agenda are, one is HDR Preview, which is an opt-in preview for those of you with HDR supporting graphics cards and monitors. You'll be able to play Warframe in HDR.
That's right.
Hype?
There's a little tool tip. It requires a Windows 10 swap chain mode. So if it's gray, it means that your settings aren't quite in the right position, and it will tell you how to work it. So that's HDR support on PC, and then of course this will be monstrously successful for those with the hardware, and we'll be bringing this over to our consoles as well. And that's coming with, did you already mention the deferred?
That's next. Deferred rendering
yep.
preview is also coming.
That's right, the deferred rendering preview as well. Again, that's going to be a launcher option. So you'd be clicking the little gear wheel and opting into that. What to say about that? It looks amazing. The best parts of the deferred rendering tend to be the outdoor maps because you're getting those beautiful sun shadows. A lot of the content in the game doesn't have real-time shadows in the same way the outdoor stuff has. Does it cost GPU time to render all those real-time shadows? Yes, it does. So you have to keep that in mind. There is a bit of a hit performance-wise, and yeah, it'll be really cool for you guys to check that out and help us kind of shake out the problems with it.
And to continue our agenda.
And so that's coming. We're almost out of February, but that's coming with Mainline.
Mainline, yes. A bonus item on the agenda is FOV. So right now, what you're looking at is the max FOV you can achieve in Warframe. But with Mainline,
Are you demoing this in the ship? Because I'm not sure what's going to happen.
I already tested it.
Great.
So in the upcoming Mainline build, your FOV will be able to go.
Look at all the extra space
All
from
the way
78
up to
all the way to 90.
So you can enjoy.
You too can look through a fishbowl.
You too can look at the larger FOV. So I do have before and afters as well. Dean, I don't know.
You should do it in a game.
I can
you should
do
do
it
it at a game level because the ship is actually constrained.
It is constrained camera.
Yep.
So we'll hop
Yeah.
in
Yep.
and we'll go back to.
It really reminds me of Quake 1.
We'll do, and then we're going to go to Scarlet Spear as a bonus. So we're quickly going to hop into Hierarchon or Hierarchon
Hierarchon.
FOV time. You want me to do before and after animation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All the social spaces have narrowed.
Yes.
Yep.
Constraints.
Yep.
That's why we will do Scarlet Spear after.
Yep.
But just to be a jerk to Jeff, because he wasn't here,
What?
This
Why
is-
are we
this-
why are we injured to Jeff?
just because we can,
'Cause-
and he told me not to do this.
He didn't want to come and.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
That's
so
a
this
sweet
is
hood.
this is the new max FOV you can get.
Whoa.
Shades of Quake. Wow.
Totally. So
Yikes.
this is
Whoa.
yeah, this
Whoa.
is 90. Oh shoot, I'm unranked.
Oh,
This is
Mr.
just-
Stark, I don't feel so well.
This is unranked.
Oh my god. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna have to.
All those.
Oh god, hurry!
Okay.
Type faster.
What are you doing?
I have to give myself some powers here. I was unranked.
Well, you're not going to be able to do AB if you're just like shooting and killing everyone.
I know. I'm gonna get out of the enemy.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Do right there. You're invisible.
Do it.
Options. Display. So if we go back to the norm, 78.
That's
My
that's the max.
This is the current max you can do on public.
Right.
So if you play with max FOV on public, this is what it would look like. Running through your missions.
And just do that.
So
and
we'll
then
stay right here.
yep,
I'm
in
just
the
gonna
same
do
position.
God mode.
You're gonna die.
Yep.
That's why I just threw on a God mode. And we're going to go to the 90.
All right. There you go.
Here we go.
That's fishbowl.
There you go.
All right. Cool.
There it be.
Finally, it's
leg
here.
armor.
So this is, and if you want, actually, someone said with Goss it looks hilarious. So now I gotta try.
Yeah,
it.
this is going to look super broken. It's
Sorry.
going to be awesome.
Sorry.
It doesn't break. It's just, it's wacky.
All right.
Super fast, because oh my god, fast. Get some XP in that.
I'm going for it. Yes! There we go.
Whoa.
That was awesome, actually.
So if you,
That's so cool. Okay, wow.
do you take back everything?
Holy smokes.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right.
I can see forever. Ain't that the truth? All right. Scarlet Spear. We said bonus of time, even though we're over time, we'll do it anyway. We'll do Ivara Prime Access
Okay.
and go to Scarlet Spear.
So last developer, or not the sound stream, but the stream before that, we talked about Nova
Oh, right.
shooting projectiles through her wormhole, and I went back to my desk after the stream, and Jordan, who works on our Warframes, had it working,
So
and then made it work for all the weapon types. So now you can shoot through Nova's wormhole with Mainline as well.
We still have one more planet.
okay. All right.
which I thought was pretty rad.
Yeah. So now.
So now we're gonna make Grendel eat grenades.
Yeah. So yeah. feed
Wink,
the
wink,
grenades.
right?
Wink, wink. Yes. So we will be giving out 1,000 plat to two lucky people: Octocult on Twitch and Blazing Flames on Mixer. Congrats to you both. So Scarlet Spear, Steve, you want to give any context to the current version of the flotilla? Any spoilers I should avoid?
I think you can jump in real quick here.
Okay.
Let's take a look. This is we're calling it Operation Link because we're gonna have an operation using our Squad Link stuff, and
Are you gonna talk to Little Duck?
this is a big deal. You could talk to her maybe. Ask
I will.
her.
I'll
Okay.
see. This is the dev build, so keep that in mind.
Yep. So we don't know what's gonna happen, but here we go.
So all our
There's tons and there's gonna be like pre-processing and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So here we go. We are in Scarlet Spear. I'm gonna kill my Sentinel. I feel bad doing that every time,
Yep.
but I don't feel bad at
Peter's gonna be after you.
There's Scott. You're at your desk over there, I guess.
Look up. Look up. Look up. Ooh, there he is.
All right. So things are happening with Scarlet Spear. This is the test flotilla on dev. We have our team in here working away, and you can see
Oh, you can see log tags.
log tags,
Yep.
but there are people taking on
Yep.
the Railjack side of
There's
the
your
operation.
rail. Yep. There's your Railjack.
Actually, there is my Railjack.
Oh, that's your Railjack out there.
Yeah. So there's mine.
Okay. Oh, there's
colors.
other players and their
Jeff would have opinions
their
about
landers.
those
It's
colors.
gonna be awesome.
And then
Yep.
you can also check out the Earth side. So you can participate in the ground mission or the Railjack mission. Space squads, you're connected. You're constantly passing data back and forth to take on Operation Scarlet Spear. The more you play, you can come visit Little Duck. Do you want me to talk to her?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's dev, so this could go wrong.
Let's see what
Yeah.
happens.
Welcome to the flotilla, hotshot.
Oh,
Got a name for you. Error. Remember it. One
I
of
don't know
the
how much you wanna
primary
deal with.
sentient intelligences from the old war. Right now, waves of his Murex ships are massing in the Vale. From there, those Murex launch swarms of info-gathering Condrix dropships. Recon data for the main event. That's why you're here, mate. Fighting off a sentient invasion is precisely what you were built for. We don't know how to kill one of those big bastards, but me and my network reckon we can give it a mucking lobotomy. Gonna require a little coordination to work. Real hand in glove, yeah? Ground teams to hit the Condrix, and Railjack teams to mess up the Murex. So, take your pick, mate. Upstairs or down.
all right. So we got lots of info coming there. That'll be launching Operation Scarlet Spear, but everything we've talked about today in the 20-item agenda is going to be shipping before the operation itself. So the revisions will come first, then the
Scarlet Spear.
to follow.
Yep. Right after.
Yes. All right. Do Ivara Prime access? And now, Meg, you can put the workshop live. It is. We have summarized the agenda. I don't think we have any other assets, do we, Dean? Okay, so we are covered. All right. Ivara Prime Access is going to One Hawk of Oak on Twitch and vote Less Ice 5020. Voteless Ice on 5020 on Mixer. You both won an Ivara Prime Access. You just got to let us know where to put it, and we'll hook you up. The alerts are live on all platforms right now from the Gift of the Lotus. You can check those out. The Super Smash Bros. Event with the Lotus Spirit is live on Nintendo Switch. What else is going on, guys? I noticed I didn't get any bourbon in this stream.
You don't.
Did you want some?
I think I do. Maybe not. Ooh, Steve.
Smash.
That's all right. All right. So next steps for the community. Our amazing team have been working on this workshop and hopefully getting it out in all language so that Warframe is supported over the next little while. At the very least, you'll have a version of this. If you don't speak English, we'll try and get you one as soon as possible. Up to the update itself. We will have the workshop live just about now on the forums for you guys to read through. And then, of course, the update will go live and we'll have 20 separate feedback threads that you guys can give your feedback to for each respective area where appropriate. We probably will actually only do 19 because I don't think the Railjack Bug Fixes need a feedback thread. So there'll probably be...
The FOV needs a feedback thread?
No, that doesn't either. But there will be about 19, 20 threads for you to put your constructive feedback in. This is a lot of change and you really will benefit from a practical version of the changes we're talking about. On paper, you'll be able to sort of look through and imagine how it'll work. But the practical feedback will help us make Warframe the best game it can be. The power levels that we're looking at, you've never been more powerful in Warframe's history. And as Scott said, we're not looking to not let you melt enemies like butter with your sweet knives.
I think he actually said hot butter. I think he
Hot
used
butter.
like a
Hot butter
knife
with
through
knives.
hot butter, which
bourbon could
that
be
works. That works.
Yes.
Yep.
The
So-
butter through a hot knife.
So please be excellent to each other.
Some butter.
We are very grateful to have been doing this for over 7 years now. We passed our 7-year anniversary of
You say we're
Devstream.
grayer?
Grateful. Definitely grayer.
We're definitely grayer.
Definitely grayer.
Way grayer.
And we're super appreciative of you guys, so please keep it constructive. Have a conversation as though you're coming to the table with us to look through the changes, the reasonings, and everything. And we'll just take it day by day with the feedback threads. So keep it awesome. Don't be punching your keyboard, and we won't be...
Or I'll throw the butter at you.
the hot
butter.
sizzling butter.
Napalm butter.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks for making it through the stream, and
There's a lot of detail here.
yep.
Yeah.
And thanks to chat. I really enjoyed reading chat today. I thought that it was going to be a little more spicy, and it looks like everyone was really excellent to us. So thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it, guys.
Yep,
You guys are the
appreciate
best,
that.
You're the best community in the world. 7 years going.
Yep.
Speaking of 7 years, we're doing our 7-year anniversary soon. Shh, stay tuned. Bye.
More graphs next time.
More grabs. More grabs. Have a good weekend. Wait, am I missing anything? No.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Cheers.
Thanks, Scott and Steve.